Good evening, folks. Long time no see. So, the topic of the night is going to be consciousness. What I'm trying to touch bases on the subject is how folks put themselves under such a label to, in a way, exalt themselves over the masses. Similar to how people consider others asleep because they're awakened to something. Or in other words, if you know more than someone about a certain topic, it's the mannerism that comes with it. So what I'm trying to say in terms of that is, when you put yourself as, or you label yourself, your life goal from that moment on is to live up to that expectation. So when you label yourself conscious, your whole life is based on an ego that you're pursuing, that you have to live up to this expectation of being conscious. It's not because it's necessarily something you care about. Like, the knowledge is one thing, but it comes off as more as you're focused on maintaining the image of being what a conscious person is, rather than focusing on understanding certain things and just teaching people without disrespecting them. Now, people often do things, like good things, for the wrong reasons. Similar to yoga or meditation in public. I'm not a religious person, but I know when I read the Bible, it spoke of how bad it was for people to do things in a public manner because it was with the wrong intent. See, when you pray, when you're at church and they ask you to come up to the altar, from what you understand in the Bible, it should tell you not to go up to that altar. You're supposed to do your prayers in private because that's between you and God. Even though I believe God is always with us, but in terms of Christianity or with other religions that do that, you're in a way disrespecting what you learn because you're doing it in public when what's between you and God is between you and God. So it's like you're putting on a show, which is why I feel like a lot of people don't take church serious. That's just my opinion. I'm not judging anything. But then another thing about judging. When you're a conscious person, you cannot be judgmental. You might be understanding certain things that people aren't awake to. But judging them because they know less than you does not make you any better. See, and then it's the ideology that people come up with as because we're black, we're gods. Now, I feel like more people who have knowledge of this pursue it in a manner where it's more tyrannical than benevolent. Because a true God is benevolent, not tyrannical. Benevolence means you teach with love, not you teaching them to force your beliefs on another just so they can see things your way. If they don't, then they're less than you, they're nothing, they're bad. Tyrannical, that's what we learned. So now you have these pro-blacks who feel that because they're so into the culture that they have to be better than black people. Like black people who don't know as much about it as they do, they're just Negroes and lost. When in reality, we're all lost because knowledge is infinite. It never stops. Learning never stops. So we're never found. We're never where we want to be. And I feel like this is the stigma with being an African American and understanding. I don't refer to myself as black because I'm an African American. I've never been to Africa, but that doesn't mean that I can't claim it because there's probably a lot of Europeans who've never been to, they have European titles like I'm French, this and that, or I'm Irish. They've never been there before. That's just their heritage. So I would not deny myself that. Similar to why they wouldn't deny it to themselves. Anyway, but so if you're gonna teach someone something, you do it with love. That's just my opinion. Because other than that, you're no different than what we refer to as the oppressor. See, you're oppressing your thoughts on the African American community because you feel you're more conscious. Being more socially conscious is a good thing, but in the manner that you project it is understandable why people are not receptive to it in the manner that they aren't with religion, like going to church every Sunday and being open-minded, or like, that's what I feel like conscious people are lacking, open-mindedness, because in their heads they feel that what they say is truth, even though a lot of it is truth, but the way that they project it is no different than when our ancestors were brought over here from the homeland and were forced to be Christians and read the Bible and follow their rule, and I feel like because we're adopting this mentality, it puts a negative image on everything we stand for. And I never put myself under any title, especially as such, because you have to be understanding, like, if this is who you are, you don't need to put a label on it, because then that means you have something to prove every day you live. Just like people put a label on being a boss female or a real nigga, because you have to live up to the expectations of what it takes to be a real nigga, a gangster, a thug. You have to live up to those expectations. You have to do shit that probably doesn't even coincide with how you really feel about life, just to have this image. I don't put labels on myself, because I'm gonna do what I do, however I do it. If it's a time for me to do some gangster type of shit, then that means that's what I'm gonna do it. But I'm not a gangster. I know I'm an intelligent man, but I won't walk around screaming that. Like, people know of my intelligence based on what they get from what I project. So most of what people tell me is, what I can, I back up what people tell me about myself. But I'm not in no way saying that my validity comes from other people's opinions. But you can't deny what people say. I mean, it's gonna come to you. You can choose to accept certain realities, but not everything people say is true. People gonna call you an asshole. Well, I know I'm an asshole, and I have my reasons, but there's no excuses. So the conclusion of the matter is this: to be a true God as an African American or an African of descent, as the Aboriginals of this world, to be a really humane person, to be a really loving and benevolent person, when you teach, give people choices. Everybody believes in God or a God in some way, in my own opinion. It might come off as arrogant, but just hear me out. We've read in Christianity that God was all loving, gave us free will. So if you are God, or you are definitely chosen in God's image, give your followers, give those who you teach a choice. Because if you give them nothing but ultimatums, then it's no reason that atheism exists. Because the way that the Bible was written, it's like you don't have a choice. You're either with me or you're going to die, which contradicts the whole very thing about God giving us free will. Well, why give us free will if we don't have a choice? So you being a teacher, you must give the people who you seek to help and educate a choice. If you want to help them, you don't give them ultimatums. Like in a relationship, you don't give them ultimatums if you really love them. You let them have a choice to be with you or without. Take me as I am, or go and do your own thing. So as teachers, let us grow up. We are not gods until we've learned benevolence. True love has no boundaries. You can let people be free to choose who they want to be and accept them as that. People aren't lost. They just have their own path they want to walk. You can't be mad at that. But as long as you do your part to inform, you've done your part. You don't have to change every life you interact with. But as long as you made your presence felt, that counts as something. And if it's not many, all it takes is one, I believe. It only takes one person's life to be inspired by what you taught to really make a difference. So let us humble ourselves, my peoples. We getting our, you know what I'm saying? I understand why you're doing this. The passion of being African American, African, in all sense, black in a sense. You know what I'm saying? Like I say, it's Hue mob all day. H is down, black, yellow, brown. You feel me? But at the end of the day, if we gonna do this, we gotta be tactful. You know what I mean? We gotta be understanding that we can't force our way on people. Let people choose. Let people understand, develop an understanding. Give them a choice. Give them time, patience. And everything will fall into place. And to the white folks out there, understand this. I don't hate you, but I don't necessarily fuck with you. You can call me racist all you want to, but at the end of the day, look. It's been proven how many white folks are really closet racists. You know, how comfortable they get with doing disrespectful things, but we're taught to think it's okay. But look, until I've proven differently, like, I have a few token white folks I'm actually cool with, because they understand I'm not a racist, and I can express how I feel about them, and they understand. It's not hate, it's just I'm telling you straight up. But it is what it is. But other than that, peace.